Hello again. It's crazy how you keep finding me here. Especially next to this river. This river crazy, honestly. This thing has taken many, many boats. Hey, to be honest, I lost one of my boats here. It kinda sucks. To be honest, I didn't really like that boat. But, who cares about that? You only care about my stories, so. Okay, let's just continue where we left off. So, Deku is now going to Hatsume's. Hmm? Didn't I say her name was Hakak, right? I don't know what you're talking about. It's Mei Hatsume. It's Hatsume. So, May, going to May's house, Deku is. I sound like Yoda there. And then they both sit down on the couch, waiting until something happens. Until they both go to sleep, of course. Then they wake up and go to school. And Deku gets his hero license. Not hero license, right? Does he get his hero license? No? No, he does not get his hero license. No. Deku then goes to his internship. He chose... He just... What did he choose? I think he would probably choose... Um... Let's just say... Who is with, a random hero. He just looks... Oh, that hero with, like, the... With, like, with the aesthetics of, like, a ninja. And actually has good combat skill. He just has, like... it's the guy that sacrificed his life for Bakugo. In the manga. He's dead now. And that's what he does. Mm-hmm. Well, I get under interns with him, and they just talk. And then they have a very chill weekend. They have a very chill internship, and Ida dies. Yeah, it's the sad truth, but he dies. And and then Endeavor killed Stain, like the nice guy he is. So Stain and Ida die off screen. While Deku is just chilling with the ninja guy. They get the Deku gets the news. Doesn't really feel any emotion towards him. He takes his condolences to Ochako and everyone who really liked him. Deku didn't really know him. And now Deku goes to his home? Where does Deku go? Deku goes to his... Well, and then just thinks what he's gonna do now because his internship was pretty boring. Now here comes some action. So, Deku is now into his, getting his license or not getting his license. And he has to fight Aizawa, which is kind of unfair to Aizawa because Deku doesn't have a quirk. It's kind of unfair how, they paired him up with a guy with great martial arts skills and really big artillery and has no quirk that he can cancel. And then Aizawa is like, I can take him. And then, oh, Aizawa tries to wrap up Deku, but Deku just brings him down, clocks him in the face, and then Aizawa's still out. They're still in. He just got really injured. So Deku yanks one of his hands out, grabs the thing, grabs him by, yoinks him by the neck, and just starts spinning him, slamming him into a building, slamming into another building, then another, then another, then on the concrete. Then he starts socking him in the face. Then Aizawa's out. Good job, Deku. Come on, it wasn't fair if it wasn't fair. Alright, now back to the story. Now back to the more important parts of the story. And then, okay, now we get to the 4-star. Okay, so now Deku goes on his bus, takes a seat next to Hagakure. No, it's May. If you're wondering why she's on the trip, she just thought it'd be fun. Because she was allowed to go, honestly. Because she's basically part of uh, the class, so she was able to go. And since Deku was there, she just thought, yeah, it'd be fun. Especially since she can tweak him when she's bored. And then they head home. Well, then they just get there. Well, not there. But they get to their ledge. Deku just puts Hatsume on the concrete, tells her to stay right there. Well, of course, he just stands there, and May is a bit confused by that until the area crumbles, and then he falls down the cliff. And May is not particularly, you know, crazy about that. Like she hits her with the old pale face and like screech, like what? I'd be in fear. Don't even ask me that question, brother. I'd be in fear. You already know it. My friend just fell down a cliff until Aizawa says it's all a part of the training. And then they leave. And then Deku, well, then they leave, and then Deku just keeps tumbling down the hill. Then he gets down there, and then he just immediately pulls out his blaster cannon and just starts shooting every single thing around him. Besides his friends, of course. Oh, they just blitzes all of them. He just starts cutting through all of them. He just keeps running. He runs, cuts through all of them, and then everyone just jogs with Deku. But Deku's already, they jog in the direction of where Deku's going, and Deku's just running. He's running so fast he can't even see him, bro. Like, he legit has boots that are made for running. Very fast boots. And then he just immediately clears all the rock guys in class when he gets there earlier than usual. And which, Aizawa and them get there at the exact same time. So as early as, well, not earlier than they thought they'd be there, so perhaps you guys. And then they got to eat dinner. Deku tried to introduce himself to Koda. He got hit in his non-existent balls, and Koda broke his hand because Deku doesn't have any nuts or any uh, items, you know. So like Koda breaks his hand, and and then he runs off crying like a bit. I'm kidding, but you wouldn't you cry if you broke your hand? And they go home. Deku just goes to sleep. He's for the whole thing, and then he gets up, then falls out of his bed, then walks to the kitchen, then smells something burning. He then finds a massive blue flame being kindled by this random crusty bish. Yeah, it's happening earlier than usual. No other reason, just felt like doing that. And then Deku just gets punted into the air by by uh, by the Nomu, and then just goes flying into the sky. And then Deku's just in basically space right now. Not space, but like up in the stratosphere. And just starts falling back down to Earth. Then he sees this guy trying to, kill Koda, and then just starts rocketing himself towards the guy. And then rockets straight through his heart, and which kills Muscular instantly. I'm really downplaying Muscular since he's so damn weak compared to all my Deku's. And then Deku just picks up Koda and just leaves. Puts him down like a nice guy. Not one of those, but you know what I mean. Then Deku just starts running around this thing, finds Toyoko Ami, just sets him on fire. But they both pass out after the flames get to them, so Deku immediately puts them out. Then Deku just heads towards some other direction, then sees Oshaku knock the shit out of Toga. He's smiling under the mask. And then he runs towards this other guy with a cane. It looks like a very easy knockout until Deku just gets hit with a massive slab of rock. Remember, he doesn't have his katana out yet, so he gets knocked. But then he picks up the rock next to him and just chucks it at Compress, which Compress has to forcefully, compress it. But Deku's already there and just freaking hits him with his hilt, chopping my boy in the head. Then you drop some marbles, but Dobby's there to grab them and then burn Deku away. But this time he can't really run through them because they're blue flames and not red flames. And then Dobby grabs Compress, puts him on his shoulder and says, "Seeing you later, hero." And then he leaves. And then Deku is frustrated because he didn't know what was in the marble. So, and he couldn't run through the portal because there was flames in front of him. And then he walks away with fury, not because he didn't see Bakugo when he was walking back. And then he started getting a bit frustrated that the so-called strongest guy there just got captured. Deku is not mad he's captured. He's mad that he got captured. So all of them just gets... Well, then Yojozo explains that she has a tracker. Deku grabs and just walks away until Mei walks up to him and tells him, "I can help you with that." And then she pulls out a freaking back jetpack that puts another booster on him and then a canister into his back. It gives him infinite energy in a way. So now Deku has infinite energy because he just has infinite energy now. I don't know how to explain it. And Deku just flies up and then heads towards the direction of the Nomu. Just then stops, then busts through their thing, popping twice in the jaw, knocking out Compress again. Toga gets just head slammed. Dobby gets pimp slapped before he can do any flames. Shigaraki tries to touch him, but he just dodges it and breaks his arm. And then, also pimp slaps Shigaraki, knocking him to the floor. Gorgiri tries to stop him, but he just jumps away and then cocks in the metal and then knocks him out, flipping over everyone, breaking the chains of Bakugo. So Bakugo is going to escape. Until a massive explosion happens. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then Deku grabbed Bakugo before then, and the massive explosion happened, but and they're perfectly fine. And then All For One is about to shoot at them because he's frustrated. Because his pupils just got wrecked. But, Deku just freaking parries a wind slash. And then he parries, goes for All For One, and then cuts him down the tummy. And then All For One grabs Deku by his metal arm, tearing it off. Not the robot arm, not the human arm, the robot arm, throwing him while tearing his arm off, which Deku is none too pleased with. And then he gets an arm to the face until Deku tries to reattach it, but it's not working. Until he reattaches it himself, because he got new upgrades. Then he flies back to All For One with Bakugo also trying to get a howitzer in, but can't because All For One keeps freaking shooting all the explosion away. Until Deku appears and gets a cheap shot on All For One. All For One says, "Cheap shot," and then it exploded. Yeah, there's a problem here because it's just Deku and him in a massive exploded city without All Might. It's just a robot and a sweaty explosion guy versus evil incarnate for the My Heroverse. And then he just starts. Then Deku then he gets powed in the tummy, losing his insides. Almost lost his power core there, but he kept it on. Then he pulls out his secondary power core. Then he freaking cocks it into one of his shells. Then shoots it towards All For One, but All For One just freaking reflects it into Deku's face. Until Bakugo ran in there and just exploded him out there. The explosion happened, it hit All For One. He lost a couple inches of his clothes. Nothing to feel bad at. Like it just appears behind All For One appears behind Bakugo. Again, pimp slapping him across the entire arena. Deku doesn't get the same treatment because when All For One tries to do it, Deku weaves it, cutting off All For One's arm. The weak one, not the very bubbed one. Then the bubbed one punches Deku in his hole, then just explodes him. Then Deku just goes flying with his human arm, and he just remembers this is the exact same situation I was in the Nomu arc, in fighting that Nomu. This is really frustrating, but it isn't happening again and then all the pieces of Deku that have been scattered around then reconnect to Deku like nanobots, and Deku just flies towards All For One with 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 very big hitting its end, going for his mask, barely cutting a hole on one of his indicators that he's able to breathe, so he kind of starts suffocating until All For One just burns it closed. It smells bad, but he's not dead. Then Deku just gets freaking cleaned up again. Then he gets cut in half. All For One tries to go for Deku's human arm, but he parries it and just goes for All For One's freaking jugular, getting it. But All For One just freaking laughs in his face with gargling sounds and just kicks him away, taking the blade out of him, then throwing it at Deku. But Deku catches. Of course, Deku says instant power off, and then he just gets hit in the head with a pipe. And then he just starts getting up, and then starts reconnecting his limbs. The deck is pretty fucked here. If All For One gets anything close to a shot on his brain, he's fucked. Until All Might shows up, freaking clocking All For One right in the face, knocking All For One down for a bit, but he gets back up, then pulls out his cannon to shoot on All Might. But Deku stabs it into him and then moves it out of the way, which is a big feat, honestly. And then he gets thrown. All For One takes out the blade, but All Might's already on him, headbutting him, taking the sword out of him, throwing it to Deku. Deku just says the instant off, grabs it again, turns it back on, then runs to All For One, flipping in the air, kicking him, cutting his throat, cutting his back, trying to take out his spine, but it's not happening, and then gets stabbed in the back, in his real arm, and then he cuts off the rock kind of thing, takes it out of him, stabs it into All For One, jumps off, stabs his toe, and then tears off his foot. And then All For One's foot just regrows. And then All Might says, I need a hit shot, kid. Can you get that for me? And Deku's like, yeah. And then Deku powers up to his maximum power at the moment. His power then skyrockets towards All For One's level. Then all of his weapons bust out, and then he flies towards him, picking All For One out of the air like a freaking a bird to a fly. Then flies back down, punching All For One in the face while he does this with a knuckled claw. And then All For One gets pummeled, pummeled until he gets close to the ground. All For One hits him with his United States of Smash, and then knocks out All For One. And Deku's just there with an incredibly bruised arm, a bleeding arm, so he heals it with his healing juice. I kind of sped through this part, but Deku was pretty focused and was really strong now. So I can finally be quick with it. Well, that's what I have for you today. See y'all later. I'm gonna go take a shower. Like, subscribe, hit the post notification bell. Liking helps with the algorithm, it really does. Subscribing helps me get motivated to post more and post better content than this. And hitting the notification bell helps you get notified every time I'm posting a video. Well, au revoir.